You're listening to Fun Oldies 100.9 FM and AM 1450. Welcome to the fastest hour in radio, All About Cars. Brought to you by ABC Motors Prescott with your hosts, David Don't Call Me Dave Spence and Big Mike Hill.
No, I like that piece of music that time, especially when you were playing it.
The little fiddle there.
Oh, that was really
action.
good.
Yeah.
Fiddle's it's just another name for a violin, my favorite instrument.
Right, well, we were fiddling on the roof.
Fiddling on the roof, huh? There again comes from the Jewish guy again.
Here we go, back to the bagels. David, I told you we're going to go get bagels afterwards. Would you stop?
Can't help it. I love bagels.
Do you realize about 15 minutes from now we'll be over at Old World Bagels eating a bagel?
Yes, that would be really good.
But you better behave or I'm not going to let you go. You're gonna
Then it's not any fun.
You're going to have to go somewhere else.
I don't like to behave. It's
Send you
fun that
home.
way. You don't know how much fun I am when I'm not behaving.
So, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
I know there's no racing for you tonight, but there is some racing out there.
There will be racing going on, yes, sir.
I know there's PBR going on, and I know a lot of people are going to PBR. No, it's not Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It's not Pabst Blue Ribbon?
No.
What's PBR?
Prescott Bull Riding.
Prescott Bull Riding.
Yes.
Wow. How long have you been riding the bulls?
I would not, could not, should not ever climb on something with a brain. And that outweighs me by that much.
I happen to know somebody who
I'm
does
glad
that.
you saved that.
I happen to know somebody who rides bulls.
Do you?
Yeah, Casey.
Oh, yes.
Casey was a bull rider.
Yes, Casey was a bull rider, and Casey will be at PBR. I know
He
this
will
for
be
sure.
at PBR?
Oh, yeah, he won't be riding, but he'll be there.
What does Casey do these days?
He owns Casey's Auto Repair.
Why is he not a sponsor of you?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No, it's Casey's awfully busy over there doing restorations and repairs. He's actually right across the street from the hair lair over there on
Is
Highway
that
89.
another way to get a plug?
No, just mentioning
I'm just checking.
who's where.
So anyway, it's Prescott Bull Riding, right?
It is.
Yeah.
They only have bulls from Prescott?
You know what? The Prescott Bulls are lazy. They probably import some.
How do you know Prescott Bulls are lazy?
That's what we do. We're in the hills, man.
I see.
The hillbilly
the
bulls.
Prescott Bulls are just really laid back. They're like, nah, it's cool, man. Just sit there and relax.
Their horns are all facing down towards the ground. They're not even perky.
I see.
Yeah.
Not like one of those country, southern bulls. It's just angry. And
Exactly.
Yeah, but if they're
aggressive.
like that and he says the horns are all facing down, then they're not horny and they're not going to be more Prescott bulls.
I get you.
Something like that, exactly.
It could be a West Coast. They could be West Coast bulls. Like, just get off me. Just get off me. Anyway,
Very good. So seriously, Prescott Bull Riding.
Yeah, so there is Prescott Bull Riding, but they are having races. I do know that it's $15 to get in. Under 10 is free. They're going to be having all kinds of cool races. Scott, what do they actually got going this week?
This weekend we're doing Prescott Valley Dwarf Cars, Mini Stocks, IMCA Modifieds, and SCRA Factory Stocks.
Now, these are the regular dwarf cars, not the outlaw dwarves.
Exactly, Prescott Valley Dwarf Cars.
So these are
Mike
What's
Williams,
the difference between the outlaw dwarfs and the regular dwarfs?
It's
Outlaws
whatever,
are wanted.
Yeah. Outlaw's a huge organization, U.S.-wide. They travel all across the U.S. racing.
Oh, I always thought they were midget bank robbers.
Or that. Very small Bonnie and Clyde.
Sorry, little people bank alleviators. That's
There you go.
politically
Totally
correct.
politically
Yes.
correct right there.
So
That was really good.
See, once again, right off the top of his head. Listeners,
telling
these
you.
guys have nothing in front of them to read. Most of their car information is right out of the head from stuff they've learned from years ago or something. I love listening to you guys.
Well,
You
that's
know-
good.
You know, the one thing I wanted to talk about real quick, I know you said you have a Toyota question, Scott. Before we get to that, David,
Yes.
you said oxygenated fuel, not good for an 80s car or 70s car or a 30s car. Not exactly not good, but there's certain components that aren't designed to live forever with oxygenated fuel, correct?
Well, yeah, you're correct. Not good doesn't mean that it's bad for everything in the vehicle. But the rubber compounds used in those vehicles were not designed to have alcohol resistance, which is what we're talking about with oxygenation. So if you don't have alcohol resistant components, it will fail. It's just how fast. So if you have an old fuel pump and you're trying to use it with a modern fuel and you don't have the right diaphragm in it, it fails. If you're talking about any of the hoses that have to do with the fuel system, they fail. Any other rubber component can fail. So it makes a big difference to your vehicle. If you're going to run the oxygenated, which we do nowadays, you need to change things out.
How far back would you estimate? I'm not asking you for a fact because I don't know, but how far back would you estimate they changed to components that weren't really poorly affected by them?
Depending on where the vehicle was made or sold originally, late 80s, early 90s probably.
So a lot of these barn finds, you know, these guys say, "Oh, well, it's my grandpa's truck, and I found it in the back, and we got it fired up." Really, the fuel lines, the carburetor seal, you know, the gaskets and stuff, you really got to watch that stuff because it will probably erode when you least expect it.
Oh, most definitely. And some of it will be fast, some of it will take longer. And so as a net result, you really will be the least expected point. Could be a disaster for you. You could be out in the middle of nowhere and have this happen. And it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of trouble, hell of a lot of money possibly just to get the vehicle towed back in to actually do something with it. So any older vehicle, you should be looking into this. And the reason I said it depends on both year and area. Some of the vehicles, when they first started doing the oxygenated stuff, were only sold in certain areas. And so it makes a difference where the vehicle came from.
Interesting. So, now that we know that, Scott, what was your Toyota question?
My Toyota question is, I own a 1978 Toyota pickup. I think it's got the R20 motor in it.
Okay.
What
Not every
color
time.
is it?
I don't know, I guess it's blue.
31 flavors.
31 flavors.
It's bluish.
It's
What do you got
bluish.
going?
Okay.
When I, not every time I get home, but when I get home and turn the truck off, it diesels. And sometimes it goes so long that I have to slip the clutch a little bit to get it to die completely. Now, what I did was I changed my air filter so far, and I looked at my spark plugs, and they're clean. There's no magnesium buildup or whatever gets on there. Why is it still dieseling?
David?
That is a good question. So it's still, is it do it in a temperature range in particular?
Not really. No, my temperature is really, the average is right. It's, I don't know, not even maybe about, I'd have to guess around 140, maybe at the most.
I think the question would be, if you fire it up and just fire it up and then shut it off and it hasn't even had a chance to warm up, does it diesel?
Yes.
I've never had to do that before. I will try that next time.
You should try that because if you were to have, you may not have buildup on the plugs, but you'd still have carbon buildup in it. And carbon will heat up and possibly continue to run the vehicle after you shut it off because it's an ignition source then. So if you have a carbon buildup somewhere within the engine, it could do that. That's why it would make a difference temperature-wise as to what's going on.
And you know, Scott, I'm going to put you on a cliffhanger.
All right.
I'm going to have an answer for you next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because there might be more to it.
There may be. Now, I do have a question for both of you.
Yes.
And this is a question I posed to Chino Glass.
Uh-oh.
Do you know why people use... No, I take that back. Do you know why newspaper is an excellent item to use to clean your windows?
Actually, I don't, but I know it works. But I've never actually known why that is specifically useful.
And Scott?
What section are you using? Okay, it doesn't matter. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I always thought that it was the ammonia content and the ink and this, that, and the other with the printing processes. I talked to Jeremy out at Chino Glass, and he said, Mike, the reality of it is newspaper is very absorbent, and it's lint-free.
Well, I knew it was lint-free. It's just the nature of the paper is
But
what
be-
you're saying.
Yes,
So.
because of both of those compounds or components, the fact that it's absorbent and it's lint-free, it allows it to, when you spray on whatever good glass cleaner you're using, it allows it to actually take it off and not leave particles on there and at the same time remove the moisture.
So can I use the cheap store brand blue glass cleaner on my car windows?
You can't, but anybody else could.
Anybody else could?
Yes.
What should you really use, Mr. Mike?
Ammonia. Ammonia works great.
Okay.
You know, there's there are some actual commercial cleaners out there that work very, very good, and I think one of them's called BioClean. I think is what Jeremy said that they have out there is one of them. But there are a whole myriad of good glass cleaners.
Yeah, I would just tell you that you would do better without the blue glass cleaner that you buy in the grocery store.
Well,
You can do better than that with hardly spending any additional money.
absolutely. Absolutely. I know some guys that'll tell you point blank they mix a little ammonia and water and use it straight.
Yeah.
And what do you use, David?
Well, I have a little glass cleaner. I'm not going to do a plug for the name, but I picked up at a glass shop, like Chino Glass, and it's just aerosol spray can.
Right.
It'll foam a little bit. Works better than anything else I've ever had.
Absolutely.
And it hardly costs more than what you buy in the grocery store anyway. And I guarantee you the grocery store stuff is nowhere near as good.
It works really good to get bugs off the chrome, too.
Oh, you mean the glass cleaner?
It does.
Yeah, but I use an even better product than that. Seafoam makes an awesome product. You ever tried Bug Be Gone?
No, I
Bug
haven't.
Be Gone absolutely takes bugs off chrome and paint. Tested on your paint. The product is 100% awesome. It is the best
Nice.
bug remover you can find.
Speaking of awesome, you know what I've been using for brake cleaner?
What?
A product called Totally Awesome. It's
Hey,
like
that's pretty
99 cents or $1.29 or something at Walmart. I like the Walmart version of it. Totally awesome. Better than like the 99 cents store in those places because it seems like it's not diluted.
Yeah.
But you spray it on, hose off the brake dust, it comes right off.
So we've given people a couple of good tips here, I think.
Yeah, we're giving them a way to clean their vehicles. You know, the other way that I clean my vehicle, I take it over to Thumb Butte Car Wash and
Yeah.
have San Martin and his guys take care of it.
Really?
Yes.
Is he advertising with us?
Actually, he is.
Oh, wow.
And he supports us. We support him. He's a community guy, and you know how we feel about supporting small businesses.
Yes. I like them better than big ones.
Yep. Keep
Scott-
it local, baby.
There you go, Scott. David, we will be back next week, same time, here on 100.9 FM, 1450 AM, All About Cars, brought to you by ABC Motors Prescott.
It's a wrap, Mike.